A process of accountability and evaluation should be built into programs to ensure achievement of goals and cost effectiveness. Peel Police Services Board, 1994. There's one other quote I need to share in closing, and I found it visionary. The words of Larry Zacher, Safe City Brampton, at the October 25th, 2007 Peel Regional Council meeting. This is a video freeze frame. He said, "The absolute best thing we can do in the community is to provide seamless care for our children from the day they're born to the time they become responsible adults." Seamless care, that's perfection. And I hate to end on a negative, but Freedom of Information confirms seamless care is no more out of the starting gate than a process of accountability and evaluation built into programs to ensure achievement of goals and cost effectiveness. And in my opinion, that is the tragic gap, and I submit that it's also a contributing root of youth violence. I don't have any answers. I am kind of a moot presentation right now, but I'm just satisfied that I got it into the records today. Thank you, Councillor.
You stay in place there, so we may have some questions. Councillor Carlson.
More of a comment, Madam Chair, and I appreciate Ursula taking the time today to do the math for us, and of course it's pretty straightforward to figure out how many police officers you could add at around 100,000 per. But I like to think of Safe City and other organizations as a group of people who put the community face on law enforcement with a focus on prevention, as well as an opportunity for average citizens to become involved. The police department being, for lack of a better term, a quasi-military organization, doesn't really welcome a lot of people wandering through the building that are volunteers and so on. They need an auxiliary, if you will, of volunteers within the community to come out and speak with the secretaries of students, involve them on a non-confrontational, non-enforcement basis. So I see them as partners, and to say we could buy 3 or 4 more officers, it's quite true, but I think you're buying a lot more at something in the $2 per house, if my math is correct. I think of a couple of seminars just lately in the Streetsville area where we didn't really require more surveillance, but the residents needed more help in trying to prevent crime in their neighborhood and so on. So it's a little bit different angle. And much like most prevention programs, they seem to be the first to get cut. There's always money for treatment, but never seems to be very much money for prevention. So I'm quite happy that the balance is there. In fact, I think probably overall it's a little bit light in terms of the work that they do and the value they add at $300,000. So, although I'm not suggesting you ask for more money this year, but I think it's a nice balance. It provides the police with more of a community face to look after these kind of issues. So I don't see it as either or, but I certainly think that request, and I didn't speak earlier on your request, I support it wholeheartedly. And I think if we need to add more officers, we should be looking at the Peel Police budget to do that if that's necessary. And I know through some of the closing of community stations we've added, I think 17 officers back on the road. So I think it's a pretty good balance, and I'm prepared to continue to support the good work of Safe City and other organizations that have the same sort of principles. Thank you.
Seeing no more questions, thank you, Ursula. And we'll go to...
The absolute best thing we can do as a community is provide seamless care for our children from the day they're born right through to become responsible adults. So it's very timely that they're here with the Children's Charter